What's up, everybody? This is Mr. Second Passport. Today I'm going to cover a common way or one of the most common ways that people use to buy property in North America and why it doesn't work here in Ecuador and South America in general, right? So one of the most common ways people buy property in the U.S., single family or otherwise or commercial, is the BRRRR model, right? Buy, rehab, rent, refi, repeat. And as you're about to see, there's a lot of issues when you try to transfer that same type of model over to a place like Ecuador, right? The first thing, like if you, for example, if you buy a house for $250,000 and then you take a $200,000 loan on that house, you'll have 50 grand in equity, right? Say the house produces, on average, say 24,000 a year in net operating income, right? And your payment on that house, same house, is about 18,000 a year, leaving you with a cash flow very simplified to $6,000 a year. And the depreciation that you get in the U.S. is, say, $9,000, right? That's just a specific part of the total purchase price divided by 27 and a half years, what the IRS lets you do. So your net for tax purposes is negative $3,000 loss, right? So this is one way that you can generate a tax-free income in the U.S. So basically what you need to do is you need to do some type of value add so you can up the net operating income, usually in the way of a rehab of the property or adding services or amenities so that you can charge more for rent. And so you can up that net operating income. Maybe just the previous owner was charging low, right, for rent. So basically it's just upping the rent somehow to $36,000 a year. Meaning you can go back to the bank and request to get to do a cash out refi, and they will then up the value of your property to, say, $300,000 from the original $250,000. And you'll get a new loan of $250,000, which covers the old loan completely, so you can cash that out. And the equity that you had to put from your pocket, you now get that money back cash free, right? So again, this is a great way to make money in the U.S. that you don't have to pay taxes on, because in the end, that's leverage, that's debt that you're going to have to pay back. It's not necessarily income, right? So now the payment goes up as well due to the higher amount of the loan, and you have a new cash flow of $12,000 a year after what's going out of your pocket. And the depreciation remains $9,000 because that's a constant from the day that you originally bought the property. And your net is now taxable income positive $3,000. So again, this is a great way to make money in North America, right? Just due to the tax laws and the very levered system that we live in. Very easy to get debt. But how does this transfer to a place like Ecuador? There's a lot of problems, right? First off is getting the loan itself is very expensive in Ecuador if you can get one. It's not that easy for a foreigner to get a loan. But once you've lived here a few years, you often can get a loan, but it's usually the mortgage rate's 10 to 11%, somewhere around there in Ecuador, and up from there, especially if you go to the little cooperatives. They'll charge you a lot more for that as well. So once you get to the leverage part, it's not going to work. The next step, the main way that you're going to get money from this property is a continual, right, long-term lease or rent, which doesn't work in Ecuador either, because the laws greatly favor tenants in Ecuador, and most of us don't want to deal with problems that may arise from renting our property long-term to Ecuadorian tenants, right? Now, there is the short-term option that a lot of us are going for, like myself, but it's not a steady fixed income that you could show to a bank and get a loan on, right? So it doesn't really work for this example. Depreciation also doesn't really exist as a tax write-off here in Ecuador. As far as I know, the tax laws are just different. And even getting a cash out refi, I've never heard that of this as being possible in Ecuador. What you can do is often pay back a loan with no penalty in Ecuador, but as far as getting a cash out refi, I've never heard of that really being possible in a place like Ecuador. So as you can see, there's not this great system that we have to lever up and make money using real estate in North America doesn't really work here in South America. So stay tuned till tomorrow, and I'll share one way that you can buy property in Ecuador if, say, you don't have money and everything we just mentioned, like getting loans and getting cash out refis, isn't really an option here in Ecuador. Tomorrow I'm going to share one way that you can buy property in Ecuador without necessarily having money or getting loans from banks. I'm Mr. Second Passport. Take care.